G'day guys, welcome back to another edition of Tackle Tips and Tricks. We've got our special guest with us again today. Today we're going to be looking at J Thread Fluorocarbon. It's a product put out by Daiwa, and we're going to give you some ups and downs, and it's an unbiased look at this particular product. If you're liking our channel and you'd like to subscribe, please do. And I'd just like to welcome our guest. Welcome, Tim.
Hey Pete.
Thanks for coming along today and to talk about the fluorocarbon and in the litres. And yeah, I'll hand it over to you, mate.
No worries, thank you. Okay, today I'm going to talk about the J Thread Fluorocarbon from Daiwa. And this has kind of really impressed me because most fluorocarbon has had its downsides for me is the fact that it's very bad knot tying ability. Because it's such a stiff and hard line, it doesn't like generally pull down onto things like blood knots, even perfection loops and stuff like that. I always find it has a tendency to break and as soon as it pulls down across itself. Where this line here is extremely supple for fluorocarbon. And not only is it supple, it's actually ultra thin for its size. So this is 50 pound. And the other good thing with the spool is the fact they've also had a little line retainer, which is easy when you want to pull your lead off. It's just literally pull it around. Okay, so all what I have here is a standard double. And what I'm going to do is show you how this leader will pull down on things like blood knots and stuff like that. So to do a Cairns Quickie, you just put it through. I generally pull up about 6 inches of line. I pinch it very tightly and then I'll just wind. Now, normally most lines will only tie down about 6 to 8 times. Now I'm going to do 10. Right, and then once I've done that, I've kept that first loop, and all I'm going to do is put it back in, and then I just grab it there, and this is what I call, I shut the hole. I then pull it up, just together a bit. I'll put a bit of saliva. I know this looks bad, but you have to do it. Now, with all knots, it doesn't matter what knot I tie, I pull them tight. And what I generally do, I'll grab behind the double, get a good grip, and then I'll start pulling. Because when I pull a knot tight, I mean I pull it tight. And now I'm going to pull it down. And as you can see, that fluorocarbon has pulled perfectly down on that knot. Now, as the tag end there is at 45-degree angle, you must do this. And you literally got to pull it back so it's 90 degrees. And the reason for that is that tag end is like a hangsman's noose. It's actually trying to pull down inside the knot. So at the end of the knot, once you've done all that, you grab a pair of scissors or a knife, run perfectly along the knot, cut it off, and there you have it. Never ever been able to do that with fluorocarbon. Now this is 30 pound braid, 50 pound leader, which is as a general rule standard barra fishing in North Queensland. Where are the good points for fluorocarbon? Now the good thing with fluorocarbon, it is a very high abrasive resistant line, which is naturally a leader. There are disadvantages and advantages of thin line. Yep. The advantages of thin line is the fact that it's a very clear presentation to your fish when you're lure fishing. But the disadvantage of it is if you're in really abrasive areas like oyster rocks and pylons and stuff like that, a really thin line is not the way to go. You are actually better off with a soft, thick leader material rather than, and people think that's strange, but it's actually better because the reason why is fluorocarbons have an outer casing and the internal side of the fluorocarbon is soft. So when you crack that casing, you actually, it's a bit like an eggshell. Once you crack it, it'll squash. But while it's still hard, it is so hard and abrasive, but it takes a lot to crack it, and that's where it works. Whereas a soft line, on the other hand, is when it runs across something, it'll abrase across and it'll rough up, but you only weaken it as much as what that abrasion is.
So guys, what we aim to provide with these tackle tips and tricks is an unbiased look at some of the tackle that's available. Thanks for your time today, Tim.
No, it's Peter.
Appreciate you coming down and sharing a bit of insight with us. And today we've looked at the Daiwa J Thread Fluorocarbon. and there's a little few tips there for you.